Hey guys, it's Ashley, and today I'm going to be talking about some of the books that I am currently in the middle of reading. So recently I haven't been posting as much as I would like to, and mostly that is because of all of my priorities that I've had to deal with in my life right now. I work 5 days a week and I'm going to school full-time, so sometimes that means that I can't upload and edit as frequently as I would like. I really appreciate you guys sticking by me, but ultimately that also means that I, for the first time ever, am in the middle of like 4 or 5 different books, because I have school books that I have to read, but then I have books that I'm reading for fun, but then I have books that I have to read to like review, and then I have books that I'm reading while I'm in the car, and it's just like, it's a lot to take in at once. I have never ever been the kind of person to read more than one book at a time. I haven't. I'm able to read more than one book at a time. I go to school, you know. Sometimes you have to. But I've never been one to want to. Now, somehow, in some way, I am that person, and it's kind of weird. So today I thought I'd take this video and talk to you guys about some of the books that I'm currently reading, where I'm planning on going in the future, what is on my current immediate TBR, and what I'm looking forward to the most. So without further ado, let's begin. So I guess like all other things in my life, I'll start off thinking about school so we can just get it out of the way and be done with it. If you don't already know, I really don't like attending class. I don't know, I've just never been that kind of person to thoroughly enjoy going to school and enjoy learning by sitting and writing essays, so I'm sorry if I don't seem that enthusiastic, but I mean, I'm also not that sorry, so. There are those people who enjoy writing essays and learning, and there are those people who don't, and I unfortunately fall into the category of the people who don't. But anyway, the book that I am currently reading for class is called Midnight Robber, and it's by Nalo Hopkinson. I absolutely love this cover. This cover is really awesome, and I thought it was gonna be a really good story because of it, because I mean, who doesn't judge a book by its cover, right? It's better than the books that I've had to read for this class, I will say, but it's not my favorite. So this class that I'm reading this book for is actually called Topics in Popular Fiction, and it's an upper level English course that I'm taking as a lit course for my degree, but it is primarily focused on, and this is why I took the course, speculative fiction and science fiction written by women writers. So immediately I was like, science fiction written by women, we're gonna get into this. This is not what I thought it was gonna be. It's not. The books that I've had to read are very in-depth sci-fi books, and they've not been my favorite. I've had to read books from Ursula K. Le Guin, I think her name is. I've read The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. That's her name. Oh my god, I just blanked for a second. And I recently just read Wild Seed by Octavia E. Butler, and they've not been my favorite. I read The Left Hand of Darkness by Le Guin, and I just didn't understand half of it, which was part of the reason why I gave it like 3 stars on Goodreads. The Handmaid's Tale, I liked the point that she was making, but I did not like the world, nor was able to get into the writing very well, so it was again a 3-star book. And Wild Seed, I just thoroughly disliked everything about it. So it was like the only 1-star book I've ever read. Throughout the entire book while I was reading, I wanted to stop. I wanted to put it down, but I couldn't because it's a school book, so I had to push through. But Midnight Robber is the only one that I'm enjoying enough to want to keep reading. It's a very weird book. Very weird. It has Caribbean influences because the author Nalo Hopkinson, I'm pretty sure, is from Trinidad. It takes influence from different historical figures and time periods, so it's really interesting in that way. I don't think that I've actually gotten into the full plot of the book. I'm still confused. The main character's name is Tantan, and it says, Tantan must reach into the heart of myth and become the Robber Queen herself, for only the Robber Queen's legendary powers can save her life and set her free. Well, I'm a good more than halfway into the book on page 198, and I still haven't gotten to the point where Tantan has become the Robber Queen, so I don't know what's happening. Nalo Hopkinson is able to tackle these really tough issues in this very weird and confusing world, and it's just really interesting to read about. Yes, so they get exiled to this other world. Her father sexually abuses her, and then at one point she ends up killing her father and then is taken by this creature to another world so that she doesn't get persecuted and killed for murdering somebody in this other world. It's very confusing. Right now I'm in like the 3rd world that it takes place in, and I'm not really sure what's going on, but we're gonna see what happens. So after Midnight Robber, I think I have to read Auxiliary Justice by Ann Leckie for this class, and then after that I have to read the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. So if anybody has ever read any of these books, I feel like these are both series, so if you guys have read these books or know of these series, please let me know what I'm getting myself into, because I haven't really enjoyed any of the other books that I've read, and I really want to be able to enjoy something. So definitely looking forward to hearing if you guys know anything about these. The next book that I am currently in the middle of, well, I've technically started and haven't gotten any farther in it, is actually my reread of A Darker Shade of Magic. This one is my paperback that I was planning on sending around as a traveling book, so I wanted to reread it and write notes in it, which I started doing. See, there's like little red notes occasionally in the book. I'm not very good at annotating, so there's only a few notes right now. I got 90 pages into my reread and I stopped. One, because I started this in the beginning of February and then my school reading took over and this just took a back seat. I'm just in this moment where I wasn't in the mood to reread it right that second, and I want to be able to reread this and take it all in while I don't have to deal with anything else, so I think I might finish this over the summer and then start the traveling book then. We're gonna see. But either way, I'm really enjoying the reread, like the beginning of it at least. I just haven't been able to get much farther into it because of all my other priorities. So then one night, I was just sitting on the couch and I didn't want to read my school book. I said, screw the school book, I don't care right now. And I didn't want to continue reading A Darker Shade of Magic because I just wasn't in the mood. So I decided to pick up and start my arc of Aru Shah and the End of Time by Roshani Chokshi. And it's really good so far. I really am enjoying it. I am 77 pages into it and it's so good. It just brings me back to Rick Riordan and his writing because he's publishing it. It's so good. It's got the adorably funny main character, but then also the gods and, you know, the situations that are just so laughable but so serious at the same time. It's so good. The dialogue is so great and I'm just so excited for when this book comes out, and I'm really excited to finish it so I can make a review of it because it's just like, I'm loving this so much, and I just want to keep reading, but I can't because, like I said, I have other priorities, as usual. That's how adulting works. Again, this is an arc. This hasn't actually come out yet. I think this comes out March 27th, I want to say. Yeah, March 27th, so look out for that. And finally, the last book that I'm currently in the middle of reading, this is the 4th book, yes I know, is actually a reread of Illuminae by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman, but for the first time ever, I'm reading as an audiobook. I have never in my life been able to get into audiobooks. Whenever I listen to them in the car, I get car sick. Whenever I listen to them when I'm at home, I get bored. Whenever I listen to them while I'm doing something, I can't follow the story and I just forget everything that I just listened to. For some reason, I have never been able to get into an audiobook, but recently I thought, while I was driving to work one day, you know, I'm spending all this time in the car every week. You know, I drive 20 minutes to work, 20 minutes back, 5 days a week. That's like 100 minutes a day. That's like 90, almost 100 minutes a week that I'm in a car listening to music when I could be reading, when I could be, you know, doing something. It didn't make any sense for me to not be doing something that I could be taking advantage of that time. So a long time ago, I had made an Audible account. I got my, I think, free credits for signing up, and then I kept accumulating credits because I just wasn't listening to it and I kept paying for the subscription. So I ended up getting the Illuminae and Gemina audiobook a long time ago. So just recently, I want to say it was last week, I decided that I was going to start taking advantage of that time in the car, and I logged back into my account and I still had Illuminae, so I downloaded it into my phone. It was a last minute, spur of the moment decision, so I did it on data, and I probably used a ton of data, but I'm not worried about it at the moment. And I just started listening to it, and somehow, I don't know why all of a sudden now, but it just like clicks, and it's so good and so nice to be able to listen to this while I'm driving to work, while I'm doing things around the house. It's just like, I don't know what in my brain decided that it was going to like snap and start working, but I am addicted to this audiobook, you guys. It's not even funny. I think one of the other reasons is that this audiobook has a full cast of characters, and I know that people have raved about this audiobook before, and I will do the same, trust me, because it's just so good. But this audiobook has a full cast of characters, meaning that every character's voice has a different actor. Every voice is a different person. It has sound effects, it has, you know, different ways of distinguishing what part of the book you're getting into, because if you've ever physically read Illuminae, you know that the pages are somehow not very easy to probably translate to audio. Some of the pages have, you know, words that are in spirals and words that are, you know, in weird formations. And there's this one point where Ezra sends Katie a message of a rose, and the rose is made out of words that just say, "I'm sorry." And it's like, how do you translate that to audio? How do you they do such a good job. I am so impressed. I am currently, I don't even know how to see how far I am into the story. How do I find that out? I have 7 hours and 30 minutes remaining, and I think it was like an 11-hour audiobook, so I'm already like 3.5 hours into it, and it's so good, and I'm so excited about it. It's not even funny. I don't think that I'm going to be able to get through Illuminae and then Gemina by the time Obsidio comes out, so I don't know at this point if I'm going to be reading Obsidio right when it comes out, or if I'm going to wait until I finish rereading Gemina, but we'll see. Gemina's my favorite out of all of them, so I'm really excited to see how that one is going to play as an audiobook. I'm like really excited to hear Hannah and Nick's voice. You don't know. You don't know how excited I am. But anyways, those are the books that I'm currently in the middle of. There's 4 of them, and somehow I'm able to keep track of like where I am in each story, which is great, and I love it. But it's also kind of confusing because sometimes I want to be reading Illuminae, which is, you know, what I want to be doing right now. I want to just be sitting down and listening to Illuminae. But sometimes I know that I need to read my school book, but then sometimes I also want to get into Aru Shah because I know I have to finish that before the end of March. So I'm at this standstill at the moment where I don't know what I want to do next, but I'm just going to try my best to continue reading them all at once and to see what happens. As for what I'm really excited about reading in the future, let me tell you some of the books that are on my TBR right now. So obviously Gemina is one of them. Gemina is the second book in the Illuminae files, if you don't know. It's my favorite out of the series currently, and it's the book that I'm going to be picking up after Illuminae to finish off the series before Obsidio comes out. That's obviously number 1. But as I've said previously, I really want to pick up The Cruel Prince by Holly Black soon. It's definitely going to be one of the books that I pick up once my school reading subsides, once I, you know, have time, once I finish the books that I'm currently in the middle of. This one actually wasn't on my list until very recently, but that is Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Chua. I'm going to say Chua. It's not how you pronounce it, I'm pretty sure. Is it Choi? If you follow me on Instagram, you saw me unbox this the other day, but this is a new contemporary coming out, and the PR box said that it was perfect for fans of John Green and Rainbow Rowell, so I'm really excited. Also, the cover is really pretty, and it matches my shirt. Oh. But it's basically about these 2 people. Penny Lee is, you know, her life was a total non-event, and now she's heading to college in Austin, Texas to learn how to become a writer, and she can't wait to leave everything behind. And then we follow Sam, who works at a cafe and also sleeps there on a mattress on the floor because he's basically broke and doesn't know what he's doing with his life currently. And then Sam and Penny meet. It's a collision of unbearable awkwardness, but they exchange numbers and then they become inseparable over text, and they just share their secrets and deepest anxieties without actually having to see each other. And it just sounds like a really adorable but also really interesting book. And then the last book currently on my TBR right at this moment, I actually just unboxed in an Owl Crate unboxing. That is The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. As soon as I read the synopsis, I needed to read this book. So this is probably gonna be the one that I'm gonna get to first out of all of these. This sounds so freaking cool. It's about this girl whose grandmother writes dark fairy tales. Her grandmother dies alone on her estate called the Hazelwood. One night her mother is stolen away by a figure who claims to come from the world that her grandmother's stories are set, and Alice has to go and try to find her mother by enlisting one of her grandmother's cultish fans named Ellery Finch. and they have to venture into the Hazelwood and try to find her mother. It sounds so freaking cool. I am so game for fairy tales coming to life, and I'm just so excited. So that's gonna be it for my currently reading video. I hope you've learned a little bit about where my life is at right now and what I am interested in doing in the future. Please let me know if you have any kind of comment about any of these books that I've mentioned, because I'd really love to talk about them with you. But other than that, that's going to be it for this video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you later. Goodbye!